Well, it looks like Remy is our so-called liar. I had a feeling last chapter. I had a feeling. And it looks like Megumi isn't having it. And I'll explain a little bit more about Remy when we get there, but Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 163. Pretty good chapter. Let's just briefly go over because it's pretty straightforward. So we get a flashback of Amiren, right? And he was in the pretty sure, yeah, the same school as Yuji. Um, he was basically one of the kids that hung around the bullies that were seemingly popular in school. He wasn't like that himself, but he hung around them for the benefits, and all he had to do was really kind of don't get in the way of their whole pride. And he gets all the benefits, and it shows him like getting girls' numbers and basically seemingly him being at the top of, I guess, the food chain at whatever school, at the school, right? And then one day, Itadori comes and he sees that kid getting bullied, and he basically teaches them a lesson, right? Pops one in the head, and then the other two come, pops one in the chin, and then kicks one, and he's left there standing, and of course he doesn't do anything, which I don't blame him, right? So that kind of gets you to the origin story of how Amai Ren knows Itadori Yuji. So that explains that. So now we get into the whole thing with Megumi, and by the way, Megumi has been looking pissed and angry this whole time. So, but he basically explains that I don't know if it's a good idea to be passing through Ikebukuro because there's a lot of resources there and we'll probably find a lot of people. But Remy explains, well, that's basically my home base, so I really want to go there. And I think this is a joke. At least let me take a shower. Like, why are you? No reason to shower, right? But that to me was kind of a hint that this is most likely gonna be Remy. And I almost got fooled too because when we keep scrolling down the panels, um, we see Amai Ren basically saying that this theater room is Higuruma's base of operations. And he's basically warning Itadori Yuji, like, yo, you might want to be careful. And then, so interestingly, he says, say it. I need to say it. I should put an end to this. And then he says, I'm sorry, Itadori. So I don't know what exactly Higuruma's been doing to gain these 100 points, but we could get into that. But I feel like he's just been killing people. Maybe mostly people that just want to also fight for points. Itadori Yuji might be a little different, so we'll see. Because he wants to help people. But that's a conflict anyway, and we'll get to that. So, we meet Reggie. Reggie's the guy we saw last chapter. And at first I thought it was Yuji that meets Reggie, but it's Megumi. And he says, you were duped. And literally we get the most disgusted face coming from Megumi. Literally, he is just absolutely disgusted. And he's not even like, the funny thing is, he's not even like worried, bro. He's like, what a waste of time. And here's why I feel bad for Remy. She's like, why are you making that face? You don't scare me. Like, Remy. Just to let you know, Reggie-sama, pay attention to that. Reggie-sama is super strong. Shut up. Like I said last chapter, Remy isn't a fighter like that. She's the type to hang around the strong people, so she gets protected. Therefore, she doesn't die, which understandable. But God, Megumi he's on a different type of timing. He's on the Gon I'm mad timing. He's on some Toji timing right now. It's not good. It's not good. Actually, I'm gonna try to make that my thumbnail, like a side by side of Gon and Megumi with the angry face. I don't know. I'll find out. I'll try to see what I can do. But Remy, I don't know what's gonna happen. The only way Remy could get redeemed here without getting killed is if she eventually helps Megumi against Reggie. Cause I'm gonna be honest, bro. Let's be honest, guys. Megumi at this point, he's scratching like special grade. He's at least special first grade at this point. But to me, I think he's a special grade for sure. If he can master, actually nah. He's definitely like at that point. I would say Maki for sure is special grade, and Megumi's just right there. I'm just trying to think of what he would need to, if he's like got everything under control. I think he does, like skill wise. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. So Higuruma, right? Our guy. He's in the bathtub. He's chilling, and he gets into some interesting dialogue. Have you ever taken a bath? Taken a bath with your clothes on? Nope. It feels better than you think. Back at elementary school, I loved clothes swimming lessons. I recently stopped caring about a lot of things, so I'm challenging myself to try new things I believe are wrong. Higuruma is still affected by his life as a lawyer and his most recent case with the one guy, and him losing that case when he did everything to basically stop him from being guilty. So he's going through a interesting character change, and we'll get into it more here, and I really want to get to it. So basically Yuji explains, like, look, I want to stop the culling games. I want this to be over, and well, not necessarily stop. He says he wants the he wants to take away the death penalty of the culling games, right? And Higuruma says, I basically refuse. And he tells Itadori Yuji it's not a joke, right? And this is what he says. Laws are powerless at times, but what about the rules of the culling game? Since the Jujutsu power that has been granted to me is real, the rules must be as well. Which, you know, it's a deductive reasoning. There's no need for accusations or prosecutions. Without arguing over the truth, what if those who break the rules are punished assuredly as the laws of physics? It's a wonderful thing. I admit there are flaws within the rules, however, I want to watch over the barrier system which serves as the foundation of the game. I can't have the game ending right away. So he's so disgusted with the laws of basically the court that he's looking at this game as if the punishment for this game is so, like, it's so on the nose, it's so on point that it's almost the same as the punishment as the laws of physics. As in, like, if, you know, say if you throw something, the impact of it hitting you is, you know, based off the throw. If you fall, the laws of physics will take control. You know, basically comparing it to rules of the world that cannot be changed. And this right here is rules that cannot be changed as well, right? So he compares it to that, which I thought was a pretty interesting take, because it's basically the rules are 100%. There's no in between, and like you said, there's no arguing. It's these are the rules. You either follow it, or just like the laws of physics, you will be affected no matter what, right? So he especially wants to see the rules about 2 and 8. Those are the rules he wants to see happen in person, because, you know, he recently has his power, so I guess, you know, he wants to see that happen. And if we go back, rules 2 and 8, rule number 2 is any player who breaks the previous rule shall be subjected to curse technique removal. And the previous rule is rule number 1. After awakening a curse technique, players must declare their participation in the culling game at the barrier of choice within 19 days. So who knows if that'll happen? We don't know. But rule number 8, if a player's score remains the same for 19 days, that player shall be subject to curse technique removal. Now, he might want to try that out for himself to see if that rule works, or like you said, he just wants to see that rule play out with somebody, so we don't know, right? He basically wants the culling game to run forever, and again, like Itadori Yuji said, this whole calling game is a ritual. So it's not necessarily going to run forever. But Itadori gets serious and he says, you let us use your points, Higuruma. And then he gets up out of the shower, soaking wet. Have you ever killed someone who's pissed you off? It feels better than you think. And that's the end of the chapter. So pretty good chapter. We're really getting to it. I'm actually more interested to see what's going to happen to Megumi versus Reggie. And I'm looking at Remy here, and she really thinks like she's got Megumi like pinned. Like, oh my god. Like she should, and I know she recently got her abilities, so whatever they are, but it's just because I like their dynamic between the two, even though we only got like what at most 2 chapters of them bickering back and forth. Like I said, the only way she will get redeemed in Megumi's eyes is if she somehow helps. But again, she's the type to hang around the strong person because she's not strong herself. So I don't know, guys. Let me know your predictions in the comments. Another great chapter of JJK, man.